greatest sports debate show on the internet.
I just want to make this statement out front. I think the NBA playoffs so far have been a disaster.
Championship rings. Starring Brandon Williams.
NBA has its next villain team. They reside in Oklahoma City, and their name is the Thunder.
And Josh Ungar.
James Harden is, when you get to a Game 6 or Game 7, it's like he's allergic. I mean, we have countless examples. He's like a bad poker hand. He folds.
Begins now.
And we are here on a Tuesday. It is me, Brandon Lewis, host of Brandon's World. He is Ungar the Max, host of the Sports Room Talk Show, Josh Ungar. Our friend of the show, Jalen Sandvick, is going to join us here in a few minutes to break down everything in the NBA playoffs, professional wrestling, last weekend and this weekend. But Josh, I got to say, man, fuck Danhausen for cursing our Cavs.
Yeah, you said in the intro, and you've said it the past couple weeks, the new villain team resides in Oklahoma City, and their name is the Thunder. Nope. The new villain team, their colors are blue and orange, and they reside in the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, and their name is the New York Knicks.
Listen, I am not on here today to call the Knicks villains. I am here to actually give credit to the Knicks because I said, dating back to March, and you were here, I said everybody said the Knicks are not better than the Celtics. They're not better than the Pistons. A lot of people were saying they're not better than the Cavs. And I said, no, the Knicks are actually better than all three of these teams. They are resting. They are not trying in the regular season because they want to be healthy for the postseason because the only thing they care about is making the NBA Finals. And last year when everybody said, how could you get rid of Tom Thibodeau? I said he deserved to get fired because Tom Thibodeau doesn't know offense. And they went with a guy in Mike Brown who has been around the block in the league. He was a former head coach of the Cavs twice, former head coach in Sacramento. He was assistant head coach in Golden State. And he implemented some new offensive tricks to go with his defensive mindset. And 4 years ago, the Knicks made a decision in free agency to acquire a guy who was Luka Doncic's sidekick in Dallas by the name of Jalen Brunson. And that move has transitioned the Knicks. And I don't want to hear about, they had to make a 22-point comeback against the Cavs in game one. The bottom line is the Knicks have won 11 straight playoff games by a record margin. They have the best 11-game win streak in NBA playoff history by point differential, even better than the 2016-2017 Golden State Warriors.
And there's our friend.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Jalen?
Yeah. I never want to see the colors blue and orange together again. Yeah, I can't stand the New York Knicks at all. I already disliked them after what happened in 2023 and the regular season game. I think it was late 2024 where they lost Jalen Brunson due to an injury here in Cleveland. The game was on ESPN, and we still ended up losing. Then we had the Christmas game, and then we had game one.
Listen.
But hold on, Jalen. But before you go, let me set the table for all our listeners and viewers at home. No, I'm not doing any analysis here. I'm going to set the table. Jalen Sandvick, ladies and gentlemen, friend of the show, he's been on the show a lot. He was not originally going to be on this show tonight, but me and him have had what I would call maybe our biggest text fights, especially over sports, in years over these NBA playoffs. And Josh has been in on it a little bit, though not as much as me and Jalen have gone back and forth as well. So I just wanted to set the table for the viewers at home. Now, Mr. Sandvick,
you go right ahead. You set that table. You go right ahead, Brandon. You set it on my.
See, can't you tell he's coming in angry? He's mad.
Pour yourself a little Chardonnay, a little something nice, because we're gonna have a long night, pal. Because you, of all people, have pissed me off the most this playoffs.
God
You,
damn.
of all people, I've heard it from my father. I've heard it from my grandfather. I've heard it from family. I've heard it from friends. But you have pissed me off the most. So
Jalen, you're coming in like Stone Cold Steve Austin right now. Holy shit.
Oh, hell yeah. If you
All
want
we
me
need is
to
the
give the
glass
rundown,
break.
if you want me to give you the rundown of the 2026 NBA in Chicago Finals, give me a hell yeah.
I want to know what I did wrong.
You've done so much wrong, Brandon, and I don't even know where to start. Okay, listen. It's not just this series. It wasn't just the ECF. Fine, we got our ass handed to us. Fine, I was a little emotional. But you, my friend, you have said things that are so astronomically wrong that I've
been right. I've been right about the Cavs these whole playoffs. I've actually been right about the entire NBA playoffs. So what have I said that's wrong?
What have you said that's wrong? You said, and I'll pull up receipts. Let's
go ahead.
Get it, ladies.
You can pull them up.
Oh, Jalen's got receipts. I wish I was in on this text string between you two now.
Go ahead. You can pull them up.
I listen. You don't want to be in this because after game one, as any Cavs fan, I said, "quote We are done." I said that.
Yeah.
After game two, only losing by missing open threes, I said, "There's no way Josh Hart plays that good again." I said, "You're not gonna believe me, Brandon. We're fine." We dropped game two. The text I get from Brandon, "Now what, Jalen? Now what? We're fine. Now what?" I was evaluating the series. I thought
I evaluated the series after game one. I told you the series was over.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I told you the series was over.
We can't beat the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. We can't. We lost both regular season games.
Josh,
in New
I
York.
understand that. It's not that. It's the fact that Brandon cared more about being right than the series itself.
Because I watched game one and told you it was over.
He analytically won the debate. He analytically won it.
You also sat there and said the same thing against Detroit. You said the same thing against Toronto.
Wait, can I jump in on that? That Toronto series should not have gone to a game 7.
That was my point.
I'm not saying it shouldn't, but when Brandon's sitting here with his phone in his hand with his little Twitter fingers and it's spewing all this bullshit,
what bullshit, Jalen? What bullshit? The fact that the
Cavs. You won't let me pull it up.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I'm waiting. I am literally waiting.
By the way, I will say this: I understood why the Detroit series went to a game 7.
It shouldn't have gone 7 either.
Yes, it should have.
Okay, I can understand a little bit more why the series against the Pistons went to a game 7. If you watch the regular season, Brandon, I know you don't put a lot of stock in the regular season.
Sorry, Josh. Josh. I found my receipts.
But if you watch the games between the Cavs and Pistons, they were evenly matched. It's not like any of the games were blowouts, whether it was here in Cleveland or in Detroit. So I understood that series going to a game 7.
That's fair, but also Detroit shouldn't even have been in this situation. If Orlando didn't go in a historic when they scored 15 points in the second half of game 6, Detroit's out.
Let's break this down. I said, I can't believe I'm saying this, especially when it should be tied 1-1. But we are absolutely fine. Granted, the entirety of the Cavs playoff run, I was speaking from. I said, especially, we should be tied 1-1. I said, Josh Hart will not score above 30. We will figure out how to defend him. And I said, Sam Merrill is not going to shoot 0 for 6 again. mark my words, we will go back 2-2. You responded with no analytics. You said, quote, buddy, are you drunk?
Yeah, because as I said, after game 1, the series was over. Because by the way, if you watch game 2, the Cavs gave up in game 2. The second half, the Cavs gave up. The Knicks went on their run and they ended the game. The Cavs played a good first half in game 2, and that was it. That was their only chance. And the Knicks came on and obliterated them in the second half, and that was the series.
And then we dropped that. And then I said, well, we couldn't hit open shots. This team's going to look a little different next year. Proud of our guys. Hope we avoid the sweep. You know what you said? Now what, Jalen? You said you were fine. Why? Why is that your first reaction when your team is down 3-0 in a playoff series?
Because I told you the series was over and you didn't want to believe me.
And you quit? Why did you quit?
But according to Kenny Atkinson, we analytically won 2 of 3
And he's not
games.
wrong. And he's not wrong.
But you can't say that. You cannot say that. You know why? Take your analytics and throw them out the freaking window.
Well, guess who's coaching next year? Guess who's not? Guess who's watching from their couch and guess who's coaching next year? Kenny Atkinson, and you're watching from your couch. And we're gonna.
By the way, I think we can all agree on this. If either one of us were sitting on our couch, we could have won game 1.
Kenny Atkinson, I'm honestly surprised he's going to be back. After that embarrassment. No.
Wait, hold on. Jalen, let Josh go. Josh, finish, please.
After that embarrassment, I said everybody should be on the chopping block. Nobody on the roster is safe. Not Donovan Mitchell, not Evan Mobley, not Jared Allen. Nobody. I said everybody in the front office and the coaching staff should be on the chopping block. How is it that you go to game 7 in back-to-back series and then you come out against a legit contender and you play like that?
All right, Jalen, go ahead.
You can say all you want. Yeah, blame Kenny. Fine, blame Kenny. All you want. But guys, we were in the Eastern Conference Finals. Why is Kenny's head first? Why is it not the roster?
I agree with you 100% because here's what I said. Here's the issue with the Cavs. They have already tried axing the coach. They move up J.B. Bickerstaff to Kenny Atkinson. The next step, you're not paying 2 coaches. You're not axing the coach. The next step is you're moving off one of your quote-unquote core 4 players or multiple.
I also all I've heard from you is Harden's funeral. Blame Harden. Why?
Because here's why.
He's
36.
He's like a bad poker hand.
But here's the problem, Jalen. You can't use age as an excuse. If the Cavs are the ones, the Cavs traded for him to. Now, by the way, let me be clear because I said this when the trade happened. The Cavs traded for James Harden not for this season, but for next season to go all in. And I still believe that. The problem is they themselves. Do you guys remember the reports that came out right around the playoffs that the Cavs coaching staff and front office believed they got the best draw out of any team on any side of the bracket in the playoffs. And the Cavs themselves felt like this year in a weak East, we can contend and at least make to the finals. And James Harden's play was not to the level of James Harden that it should be in the playoffs.
He's the only reason we even survived Toronto. What are we talking about?
I would say it was more so Dennis Schroeder that we survived Toronto.
Okay. Yep. Then start Schroeder next year. Why not? This is the dumbest shit I can't stand Cleveland fans for. This is what I'm talking about. What are you like? Are we just forgetting how much attention? I don't care if James Harden doesn't score 40 anymore. How much attention does James Harden draw to the basketball?
I'll give him credit for that.
Here's my thing. I am not putting the majority of the blame on Harden. Let me be clear for that. I actually put the majority of the blame on Donovan Mitchell. I do. If he is supposedly your best player, he's supposed to arrive in the best moments. And say what you want about game 4. It's easy to show up when you're down 3-0 with no pressure on you. In game 3, he did not show up. And multiple times in these playoffs, game 5 against Toronto, he did not show up. Game 5 against Detroit until the fourth quarter, where he had some moments late, did not show up. And I think that the Cavs are going to try to run it back. But the guy that you would move off of, if there's any guy that they're going to move off of, I know, Jalen, you think they're going to move off Evan Mobley. We'll get into that. I think the most likely guy they move off is, is Harden, but reportedly they're going to re-sign him. So,
I'll say one more thing. You know how easy it is to blame James Harden. We've been doing it for decades. We've done it for years. Well, James Harden can't perform. It's not his job to do that anymore. It's not his job to average 40. You know what that tells me? That tells me Donovan Mitchell is not that guy.
I'll take it a step further. Because Brandon was just saying that, like, Evan Mobley didn't show up. He's one of the main guys I blame first on this thing. Like, you should be the one bringing the physicality to match up with Jalen Duren and Scotty Barnes, respectively, in those two series. Scotty Barnes, for the most part, owned Evan Mobley in that Toronto series. And when Detroit actually got Jalen Duren involved, he was able to do whatever the hell he wanted. And if you watch in this series, Cat was able to do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. When Mitchell Robinson came off the bench,
Mitchell Robinson was able to do whatever he wanted in that series except for shoot foul shots. That was it.
Yeah. Oh, and don't forget, Paul Reed came off the bench and had a huge impact for Detroit. So that's one of my biggest issues is our front court guys, especially Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, I'm going to say it, they are soft.
Okay, can I say two things? Number one, I think putting Jared Allen in that conversation now is not fair because I think you can make a case Jared Allen might have been the best player for the Cavs in its entirety for this entire 18-game playoff run. Jared Allen was what he should have been. He lived up to his billing. The other thing I'll say is this. What made me so mad about these playoffs is this. Donovan Mitchell is supposed to be a top 10-ish player in the NBA. And I would argue in each series, in the Toronto series, I would argue Scotty Barnes was the best player in that series. In the Detroit series, I would argue Cade Cunningham was the best player in that series. And in the New York series, you can make an argument for Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Karl Anthony Towns, any of them, when it really should have been Donovan Mitchell. And that's my biggest problem.
You could make an argument that the only reason we stayed afloat was because of three guys, Jared Allen, James Harden, and Max Strus.
No, I would take out Harden and I would add in Sam Merrill. I would flip Harden to Merrill because I don't think we win that game 7 in Detroit without Merrill's 15 in the second quarter.
And Jalen,
we don't win that game. We don't win game 6 in Cleveland against Detroit. Or was that game? What game was that? That Harden.
That was game 5 in Detroit in overtime. And
no. When we were at home and Harden hit that step back.
That's game 3.
Game 3. We don't win that game if Harden doesn't hit that.
Well, by the way, the Cavs were up 18 at that point going into halftime. And
no, that's not what I'm talking about.
Well, Jalen, that's the conversation. Because the conversation is, wait, how did this team go from – because remember when they traded on with James Harden, you were the one saying, oh, this Cavs team was legitimately a championship contender. How did we go from that to, wait, they're down 0-2 to Detroit in the second round, and now they're about to blow an 18-point lead, and it had to come down to one James Harden floater, the one game he did play well. I'll give you that. Game 3 and game 4 against Detroit, he played well. My issue's not even with the scoring or the efficiency. It's the turnovers. How many live ball turnovers does this team have? And it's not just a Harden issue. I have never, ever in my life of closely examining a basketball team watched a team that did not value the round ball that you put in the basket.
I will say this. It doesn't help that Evan Mobley is has hands made of stone, has a brick wall, has 2 brick walls for hands. It doesn't help that when Harden wants to throw a lob, Mobley's going to catch it, come down with it, and get stripped. That doesn't help.
And
You gotta
I
play
don't
with that
get.
context.
I understand that in the playoffs you had to shorten your rotation, or that's
Why didn't Keon play?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Why didn't Keon play more? Why didn't Tyson play more?
Tyson sucked. When he did get a shot, he sucked.
I like where he's developing.
I like his physicality. I will say that.
My biggest problem though is why didn't we make an adjustment? Like the 3-pointer was clearly not working for us, and yet we kept jacking him up.
Why? Because Evan Mobley can't catch. Jared Allen can't catch either.
But
so even if you want to run the pick and roll game, you can't because we got 2 dumbasses for centers and power forwards who can't catch.
And they're not physical.
Again, I think you guys are totally off on Jared Allen. I thought Jared Allen completely.
I'm not saying Jared Allen didn't. Hold on. Let me preface that by saying I think Jared Allen played awesome. There were times where Jared Allen wasn't in the game. That game against Detroit when Jared Allen got in foul trouble and we lost, I texted you. I said, if Jay doesn't get in foul trouble, we probably win that game.
Was that game 1?
No, that was game.
Yeah.
Was that game 2?
It was one of the 2.
It was either game 1 or game 2. But I remember, and you were like, "Yeah, I agree. Cavs in 6 or 7."
The problem with Jared Allen, though, I will give him his credit because he does play well. But the only time I really see him like put his butt down low is when he has a free run to the basket.
That's because the Cavs offense is not, they don't run post plays. They don't put their butts down low. They're a 3-point jump shooting team.
Which I think is
there's too many specialty guys on our team.
Yeah, exactly.
So that leads me to this question, guys. What do you do and how do you fix the roster?
I know everybody's going to say that Giannis is the answer and the Cavs are going to be linked to him. No. And the other big one is the Cavs are going to be linked to LeBron coming back. And maybe that actually happens. I don't know. But when you go back and watch like the 2013 Miami Heat, for example, the reason that team won a championship is because they had their big 3 and they surrounded them with complementary guys like Shane Battier, Mike Miller, Mario Chalmers, Ray Allen. They weren't just, yes, they were all shooters, but they could do more than just step back and hit the 3-pointer. Mario Chalmers, he was the primary point guard most of the time. Or if it wasn't him, it was LeBron.
Those don't exist anymore, Josh. Players like Chalmers don't exist. Players like Battier don't exist. You don't find these guys.
No, I'm not saying like you go out and find a Mike Miller type player, but if you go back and watch how Miami built their team, it's the same way when we built our team in 2016. Why do you think it worked when we traded for J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert? It's the same kind of thing. That's what I'm trying to get at, Jalen, is I'm not saying go out and get a J.R. Smith, you know. I'm not saying go out and get an Iman Shumpert, but if you build that type of team, it tends to work. Do you get what I'm saying?
Again, it doesn't work when you have big men that can't catch. This is strictly a Mobley problem. And
the big thing is trade Mobley for Giannis Antetokounmpo. I know. I can't see the Bucks doing that though.
Why? They're in full reboot.
Not that the divisions matter anymore anyway, but why would the Bucks trade him to their own division rival.
You just said it doesn't matter. You just contradicted. You contradicted yourself.
I feel like if the Bucks are going to trade him, it's going to be out west.
No.
They don't want to play him 3 or 4 times a season.
See, I used to think that too, but I agree more with Jalen that I don't think it's going to matter to them because they're in full rebuild mode. But I don't know if Evan Mobley would be enough for them.
Jalen, yes, I realize I contradicted myself, but I had to acknowledge the other side of the coin there. So that's why I said it the way I did.
I understand that. But
So
go ahead, Brandon.
I do not want to be, and this may be an unfair comparison, but I don't want to be like the early 2010-ish Memphis Grizzlies, a team that had Mike Conley, Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol, Tony Allen, like very good team. I believe they got to one Western Conference final.
Got swept by the San Antonio Spurs.
And they were a very good team, right? I mean, they won 50 games multiple times a year. They always would get to the second round. They got to a conference final. And then they didn't win anything. And it feels like the last, 5 years of that core was a big waste of time. I would rather be, I'm fully transparent with you. I would rather be the Nets or the Wizards or the Kings and stink and have no hope than be stuck in purgatory. It is the worst place to be, in my opinion.
Wow.
And I feel like right now, unless the Cavs make a move, which if they do make a move, Mobley for Giannis, you're saying we better win the title next year. By the way, Giannis his last few years has not been exactly healthy himself, especially in the postseason. And if you are going to trade Mobley for Giannis, boy, you just went from Darius Garland and Evan Mobley to James Harden and Giannis Antetokounmpo. You got real old and real veteran real quick. And that would be my concern.
Yeah. Honestly, hold on 1 second, Jalen. Honestly, I feel like we're the Eastern Conference version of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like, I would put Anthony Edwards over Donovan Mitchell, but you look at the Timberwolves, we're both in the same situation.
No, I think that's fair because Minnesota's sitting there saying, we got to go through Oklahoma City and San Antonio for the next decade. What the hell are we going to do?
Yeah, and Cleveland's saying, we got to go through Boston for
Indiana.
We got to go through Boston, Indiana, New York, and don't put it past Philly. If they move off Embiid and get some more young pieces, that team will be coming of age soon.
And Detroit, for that matter.
And Detroit.
Yep. Listen, you make a push. I don't care what you have to do. Move off Mobley. Get another big star. Maybe Giannis, maybe not. But get somebody else that can catch a basketball, that can run a high pick and roll, that Giannis can't consistently knock down the three, but he's so dominant inside. Get a guy that can catch. Get a guy that can hit foul shots, for Christ's sake.
If you're not going to get Giannis and you're still moving off Mobley, I'm going after a guy who's a free, who's a wing. I'll compare it like a Jaylen Brown type player, right, who can just go out there, who can make shots. Then you're not going to have the lane clogged up with that guy and Jared Allen.
And that's been one of our biggest problems. And I thought we solved that when we traded for DeAndre Hunter last year, but clearly that didn't work. We have not had a legitimate three since, good God, I don't even know the last time we had a legitimate three.
We haven't had a legitimate three since LeBron. And that's where I think, and I know Jalen hates the idea, but I think you make the argument. See if you bring back LeBron and keep everybody else, because that is your hole on the roster, technically, is your starting small forward. And he saw, regardless of what you think of him at his age, and whatever, he solved that hole perfectly.
I'm not saying I have a problem with LeBron coming back. He's gonna take a vet minimum. He's gonna take a massive pay cut. Do I like the guy? Have I shit talked him on every show you've ever been a part of? Sure, but if he comes back and helps my team win, will I have a problem with that? No. I don't know where this narrative came from that, oh, Jalen just won LeBron back in Cleveland.
Because every time I text you about LeBron coming back, you always say, oh, God, I hope they don't.
Yes, because that's my ego. That's my love for Michael. But in reality, if he did for a vet minimum, why not?
All right, guys, let's move on to the Spurs Thunder series. Game 5 is tonight. This series is tied at 2 games apiece. Spurs obviously win a classic game 1. OKC comes back and wins the next 2. Spurs dominate here in game 4. For OKC, AJ Mitchell has already been ruled out tonight. Jalen Williams has been dealing with hamstring injuries basically since the finals ended last year. It's questionable. And look, I've been saying it. You heard it in the intro. Josh alluded to it earlier. The Thunder are the new villains in the NBA.
No, they're not.
I can't stand this team. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander gets free throws when he's not even being freaking touched, for God's sake. And
too bad.
Oh, too bad.
It works. You guys are just mad. It works.
Jalen, you're only saying that because you are a fan of James Harden.
Wait a minute. Only this guy has an issue with it. I love SGA. I've been one of his biggest fans. I have nothing against this OKC team. I went to Paycom Center for a Thunder game last year. So I'm able to say I got to see the 2025 NBA champions in their home building.
There's no way, Brandon, you could say you hate OKC more than New York right now. More than Boston.
Are you kidding me? No, this Knicks team is great. They're fun to watch. I have no problem.
I'm glad you like the team that just kicked our ass before games.
Because
that shows me where you lie as a
they're
a
just fun to watch. Listen, they're a good story.
So is OKC.
They're not.
They're on the ground at the free throw line every 5 seconds.
Are you mad because it works?
But
no, I'm mad because if you look at the stats, by the way, look at SGA's stats in the postseason compared to the regular season. They're all down because he's not getting the calls.
And yet they're still winning.
Are they? Because they're tied 2-2 right now with San Antonio.
Which, by the way, tonight is an absolute must-win for Oklahoma City. Absolute must-win.
Oh, I agree with that. I think it's a must-win for both teams. I think whoever wins tonight wins the series.
Wait, you said AJ Mitchell is ruled out, correct?
Yes, he is.
Okay, and you said Jalen Williams is questionable, correct?
He's questionable. I would guess they suit him up and he tries to play. I don't know how effective he's going to be.
Okay, if you have watched the Thunder during this postseason and during the regular season, they are not the same team offensively when both J-Dub and AJ Mitchell are not there.
Maybe that's because SGA isn't Batman. Because he's not getting the foul calls in the regular season. So he needs a running mate. Because in reality, he gets half of his points at the free throw line.
I was not making that statement to try and discredit SGA.
You made it, so I finished it. That's what happened.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
No, Jalen, I was not trying to discredit SGA in
I'm
any
not saying
way.
You're discrediting, but all I've heard from Brandon is, the Thunder.
No, Jalen, you were on my side, and then all of a sudden the Cavs got James Harden, and I think you even texted me this. You said I didn't like SGA either. Then we got James Harden, and now I have to be okay with it.
No, you said Harden's a bitch, and I said he's our bitch.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Why it works?
You know what's interesting?
No, it doesn't work. Not at the playoffs when you have real officials saying, "Get this bullshit out of here." Let the guys play.
You know what's genuinely interesting?
Go on, Josh. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm not going to sit here and just allow you to shit on something that works.
Okay, can I make
I'm going to let Josh
here?
finish. Go ahead, please.
We were just talking about how do we break up Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, and do they actually work well together? You look at what Oklahoma City is doing, Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein do work well together. Like, that's a double big lineup that actually works. But I want to go to the San Antonio side of this. Because are we sure Wemby is from this damn planet? Because I am not. He pulls up from half court and shoots it like it's nothing. But outside of Wemby, my favorite player for San Antonio, it's not De'Aaron Fox, it's not Vassell, it's Stephon Castle. That dude has come on like a bull in a china shop in these playoffs. He's scoring, it seems like the dude scores at least 15 every game. He can knock down the three-pointer. And again, kind of like what I was saying with the Miami team and with the Cleveland teams, San Antonio has built their team in a way where Wemby's the main guy. We know this, but they have put complementary players around him, and the system is working. Kind of like that Orlando Magic team that beat us in the 2009 Eastern Conference Finals when they had Dwight Howard and they surrounded him with Rafer Alston, Hedo Turkoglu, Rashard Lewis, Mikal Petrus. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. Didn't Turk fry us that series?
Yeah, Hedo Turkoglu fried us that series, correct. But San Antonio, I feel like they are the team to beat, not just in this series, but in the playoffs. It's felt like that throughout this postseason because they faced adversity in just about every series. They lose game 2 against Portland. Wemby goes out with a concussion, and they end up, I think they won game 3, if I'm not
mistaken. Game 3. It was a comeback in Portland.
Yes. And then in the second round against Minnesota, Wemby gets ejected. They're in a bit of a dogfight, and they end up closing that series out against Minnesota. And now in this series, they lose game 2, and you're like, okay, it's a young team. They're going back home, but let me rephrase. They lose back-to-back games on the road and at home, and you're like, okay, this Spurs team is in trouble. Like, their youthness and lack of playoff experience is showing, and they come back and absolutely smack the Thunder in the mouth in game 4.
Yeah, I'm worried about tonight for someone that's rooting for the Spurs. And it's not the Spurs. I'm worried that SGA is going to get 20 free throws tonight.
I would like to, Josh, when you were trying to talk, my audio cut out, so I didn't even know you were trying to talk. So I'm sorry for cutting you off there. So I had no idea you were trying to speak. My fault. But Brandon, you gotta understand that it works, man. There's no way you could look at this team and look at Golden State and have the same hatred. There's no way.
The thing is, they don't need to do it. They are that good. Why do they need to foul bait? Why does SGA need to go like he is that good? He is that talented. Why? And
I will say this. I know, Brandon, you and I have had debates about whether Spurs Thunder is a rivalry. This is a damn rivalry.
Well, I think it's the start of a rivalry.
Oh, come on. This is a damn rivalry. What are you talking about? It's the start of it.
Well, this is the first
start. This is a start.
No,
this is the start. This is the first iteration we've seen.
This is the first series we've seen like this.
I'm already calling it a rivalry.
All right, well, Josh, you wanted to talk about this. Potentially Spurs Thunder going to a potential game 7, and about the Knicks, about them having the benefit about their other opponents going 7 games, as in the Sixers, and then obviously the Cavs against Detroit.
Yeah.
And potentially now the NBA Finals.
Exactly.
Or the Western Conference.
So the Knicks took care of the Hawks in emphatic fashion in Game 6, and meanwhile, Philadelphia wins a very intense and close Game 7, and what happens? Philadelphia has one day off, and then they have to turn around and play the Knicks in New York. What happens in the next series? They finish off Philadelphia in a sweep in dominant fashion, while with us, we go to a Game 7 in Detroit, and then one day off, and then, it's time for Game 1 against New York. The Knicks have been very much so beneficiaries of Game 7s. And if the Spurs and Thunder go to a Game 7, I'm going to question this Knicks team.
How can you question the Knicks? How? They're getting the job done. That's why they get to sit and rest, because they get the job done.
You don't think they've been beneficiaries of their...
Of course they are.
Exactly.
But they get the job done, Josh. Holy fuck. Like, you guys are so, like, flabbergasted me how dense some of you are. Of course they're going to benefit from their opponents going 7 games. You know why? Because they get the job done in 4, and other teams can't get the job done.
I will answer like this. I'll say 2 things. Number 1, I don't think if the Knicks win the championship this year, we should put an asterisk behind it at all. But I will say this. Do I think the Knicks have a shot at winning the finals better than I thought they did 2 weeks ago, especially if this Spurs Thunder series goes 7? Of course I do. Because do I think our Cavs benefited in 2016 from Golden State and Oklahoma City going to a 7-game war and us playing Toronto? Yeah, I do. But guess what? It's sports. It happens. And you know what? Whoever the Knicks play in these finals, if they beat them, it will be deserved, barring a catastrophic injury. Because let's face it, the NBA playoffs are coming down to, even in the Western Conference Finals, you can make a case the winner of OKC San Antonio is going to come down to whichever star is not limping around on one leg between Jalen Williams and De'Aaron Fox and Dylan Harper.
And by the way, you can't tell me that the NBA and ESPN didn't want the Knicks, because they obviously did. They didn't want the Cavs in the NBA Finals. They wanted and are getting New York. There's a reason I avoided watching First Take and all of ESPN the day after our collapse against the Knicks in Game 1. I haven't watched First Take or ESPN at all today, because I don't want to hear Stephen A., and all his "Go New York, go New York, go." Oh, I almost threw up in my mouth saying that. But, the NBA obviously wants New York. The ESPN wants New York. So congratulations. You got your wish. And Brandon, you may not put an asterisk on this championship if the Knicks win it, but guess what? I will.
Why?
How can you say that?
Josh, you pissed me off. Holy.
You don't.
Jalen is mad at both of us, I guess, for different reasons.
Jalen, you think I actually care?
Well, you should care, because you sound like a moron. You're staying on your own show, and you sound stupid. So you should care. There's going to be an asterisk. Why? Because the Knicks have played better basketball than every other team they face, and now they have to wait opponents? Are we serious? Are we that soft now as a society? God.
John, I look at it like asterisks are reserved for cheating, obviously, in baseball, or major catastrophic injuries.
Tyrese tearing his Achilles.
Yeah, is that an asterisk for Oklahoma City?
Tatum going down. What about that? Or like, my God, Josh. Like, what are we saying here?
Brandon, weren't you the one saying Boston's title gets an asterisk in 2024?
No, I said that they were that was their path easy. Yeah, but they dominated everybody because they had 10 shooters that could make threes. I said it was going to ruin the NBA because they were the analytically driven team that won the title.
Oh, wait. We analytically won two of the 4 games against the Knicks.
Oh boy.
All right, Josh. So I think I know where you're going with this next question. I see you added it to the rundown. So let's get to it.
Yeah. So going back to the World Series, Joe Davis was on the call for that. And do you know who he calls games for during the Major League Baseball regular season?
The LA Dodgers.
The LA Dodgers. Who was in the World Series? The LA Dodgers. During the NBA regular season, do you know who Mike Breen calls games? Who does Mike Breen call games for?
The Knicks.
And who was playing in the Eastern Conference Finals?
Who cares? My God. It's not that big of a deal.
See, you don't think it's a big deal, but guess what? I hate it. I absolutely.
Then mute the TV. My
God,
God.
I'm sorry. This is funny. I'm sorry.
My God. Mute the television then. Mike Breen is the voice of the NBA. He's the voice of the NBA Finals. He's the voice of the Knicks. Fine. Who cares? Dude, I felt no bias watching the Knicks kick our ass. None.
That I agree with, and Mike Breen is professional. Now listen, I have said that ESPN should not have gotten rid of Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson. That I thought Mike Breen for a little bit was maybe trending on a little bit of the downside. I didn't feel the energy and the passion with him for a little while, for a couple of years. But I think Tim Wegler and Richard Jefferson have brought that back. And I think that they're a good crew. Now, do I think they're as good as Tirico, Reggie Miller, and Jamal Crawford? No, I don't. I don't even think they're as good as the Amazon Prime crew. I thought Ian Eagle and Stan Van Gundy and Evan Harwin and Candace Parker and Dwayne Wade, I thought they all absolutely knocked it out of the park. And I am upset at the fact that ESPN does get exclusivity of the finals. But no, I don't think there's any bias here.
So Mike Breen gets a little bit off the hook here because I love his calls. So I'm not as upset about that one. It's more so the Dodgers with Joe Davis. But in general, I don't love this, that commentators, whether they call games regularly nationally, which Mike Breen does, I'll give him his credit. He doesn't just call Knicks games, but he's regularly on their broadcast. But he does call other games on ESPN. I get it. That's why I'm not as upset about it. But
there's a reason why everybody in the industry not only works multiple sports, but they work local. I mean, most of our national broadcasters are also regional local broadcasters because, you make good money for a living, but it's not like out of this world rich, like, a player or a sports commentator or somebody, just on ESPN all day, for example.
Right. But like, the reason I love Tom Hamilton so much is because he only calls Guardians games. He doesn't go and call
but he's
Dodgers.
A radio guy. He's a radio guy. It's not the same thing.
I agree there. Radio and television are two completely different. Now, there are guys that do both. Like, I don't know if you guys know, Kevin Harwin does both. Noah Eagle does both. Ian Eagle does both.
Yeah, but they don't, like, as far as I know, they only call, like, nationally televised or games. I don't think they call.
No, Ian Eagle does local television broadcasts for the Brooklyn Nets. Noah Eagle also does some of them. I know Ian does the TV preseason local broadcast for the Jets in New York as well.
Okay.
Kevin Harlan does the local preseason for the Packers.
Okay. You got me a little bit there. I'll admit that.
All right. Well, now Josh and Jalen, it's your guys' turn to once again eviscerate me. We're just gonna dive into let's talk professional wrestling. Go ahead, fellas.
The elite, the elite.
See, Jalen, you and I have disagreed throughout this show. We're very much so going to agree on this one. Because, my God, that was one of the best pay-per-views I have ever seen.
Bang, bang.
Dude, I don't think there was a match on that show where I was like, that was a bad match.
No. I didn't get to catch the whole thing. I only seen highlights. I will go back and I'll watch the full show. But I did see the Darby spot, bang bang. I did see the heel turn.
Oh my God, that heel turn was perfect from Kevin Knight, and you could tell it was coming too. But I didn't think they would pull the trigger like that.
No, I was shocked. But
did you see the Kyle Fletcher stuff?
I did not. So
oh my God. Oh, you have got to watch it. The way they executed it post-match after Takeshita won the title. Sorry if I just spoiled that.
No, yeah, I did see that. I did see.
Okay. But the way they executed the post-match stuff, Fletcher comes back, which I was not expecting, and it looks like, Team Proto Kesta, or however they said it, with Proto Shida or whatever, I was gonna be reborn. No, Fletcher absolutely clocks him. Proto Kata is a thing, except when Fletcher goes to pick up the international title, who also picked it up? Okada. It was amazing.
I saw Jericho did the Sabu tribute.
Yes. Which apparently there was the New York State Athletic Commission or something said they couldn't brawl through the crowd and no blood was allowed during Stadium Stampede. I didn't care. For God's sakes, Luther gave Chris Jericho a freaking giant tennis racket.
That was sweet. I did see that. That was sweet.
It was hilarious. The I Quit match was just.
Oh, that was Chef's Kiss. I did get to see some of that. Yeah.
My prediction and what I wanted, not because I have anything against Cope and Christian, I wanted FTR to retain only because of my idea for a multi-man ladder match at All In featuring FTR, Young Bucks, The New Day, because New Day's coming to AEW. It's just a matter of when.
The New Day are all elite, Brandon. How we feeling?
And several others. So that's the only reason I wanted FTR to retain. But I have nothing against Cope and Cage.
I saw Scott put Christian's in hand in the cinder block and he goes, I did your mother.
Yes. It was quite funny. And then MJF Darby Allin. Oh my God.
I could watch them wrestle forever.
The fact that they have made a match be all about a single move, one of the most basic moves, the headlock takeover. Like, how do you do that?
Because MJF's the best professional wrestler to ever lace boots right now.
MJF,
now, what's going on in Italy, boys? What's up there? Because our buddy Brandon's a little quiet, and I'm actually intrigued. So what's going on in there, Brandon? What's going on with the World Entertainment Company?
Yeah, Brent, Jalen, I got a better name for it. World Promotional Entertainment. Because that's all you get. Promo. Oh wait, here's a match. But there's not actually going to be a finish because it's going to end in distraction, interference, confusion. Oh, wait. Here's a match. Oh, sorry, you don't get a finish. Oh, here's a match. Oh, sorry, you don't get a finish.
The only thing that's entertaining right now in that company is Danhausen, but I want to hear what Brandon has to say. I'm being for real here. I'm being for real. So Brandon,
Yes,
take it away
I
about
would like
Italy.
to hear from Brandon. Go ahead, my friend.
Okay, one, Jalen, you might have missed it, so I will repeat it again at the top. Fuck Danhausen for cursing the Cleveland Cavaliers.
There you go.
And he is the reason why. No, of course I'm joking.
He is definitely the reason we got swept. Dan, if you're watching this, I've met you before. You are very nice. You are very evil. Please uncurse my Cleveland teams right now. Thanks, pal. I've already DM'd you like 40 times. Please stop this. It hurts.
Okay, before we get to Clash in Italy, you guys might be shocked. I don't have anything bad to say about AEW Double or Nothing.
Whoa.
The reason is because I legitimately forgot that it was even a show. And usually on my timeline, I see highlights and I watch things. I saw maybe one thing. I saw the spot where, Christian says that he, as you guys said, did FTR's mom.
Banged your mother. That's what he
Yes,
said.
I saw it. That was about all I saw. I think my timeline was all filled with the NBA stuff. This Clash in Italy card is better than WrestleMania. I will put that out there right now. I think that this is potentially maybe the card of the year for the WWE. There are 4 WrestleMania worthy matches. I think 3 of them are rematches, or 2 of them are rematches, and one of them is another WrestleMania worthy card. Yeah,
it's at like 12 noon, right?
It's at 2 p.m. Eastern. I'll probably be watching it later in the day, Sunday night. But yeah. Listen, I openly admitted to Josh a couple weeks ago. I was like, listen, I have not watched a ton of wrestling. I've been sort of in and out of wrestling. My focus has been on the NBA playoffs. So,
You're missing out with the Stanley Cup playoffs, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Great game last night by the Canadians and Carolina. What a game.
Yep.
I do think, again, depending on how you feel about Brock and Oba running it back, I think it's going to be a great match regardless of the last 5 minutes or so. I know a lot of people think Brock's going to beat Oba. It's going to set up a rematch that way. I don't think that's the way you have to book it. I think Oba can still win and Brock can come out and maybe Brock costs Oba Femi the King of the Ring or something along those lines. And you have, Oba say, well, Brock, I'll have to beat you one more time, but this time you're going to have to put your career on the line. I do think there is a world out there where for the first time since WrestleMania, we see the return of Randy Orton, and he potentially cost Cody Rhodes the Undisputed Championship against Gunther. I would love to see that because I think SmackDown.
Where's Pat McAfee going to come in?
I think SmackDown needs a complete creative refresh and reboot. I have no idea what's going on in the Blue brand. They have Cody Rhodes and Gunther and Rhea Ripley, and that's about it. Trick Williams too. I'll throw him in there. He's great.
There you go.
Raw's been cooking. I'll say that I really enjoyed what I've gotten out of Raw lately. I'm really into this Roman Jacob Fatu story. I really want to see.
I will say I am.
I want to see Sol Ruka win the Women's Intercontinental Championship from Becky Lynch. I think Sol's got great potential. And I think WWE is just in a transition period right now where they're having a lot of young guys. Oba, Sol, Javon Evans,
even
Jacob. And, Jalen, me and you, we did talk about this at the beginning of the year where it did feel like a very transitional year where you have your Codys, your Punks, your Romans, but then you also have your Jacobs, your Javons, your Breakers, all these young
Ethan
guys.
Page.
Ethan Page, well, who I think, by the way, I don't know if you guys got to see. I watched a little bit of Raw last night. His commentary work in the match between Rey Mysterio and Rusev was extraordinary. I think Ethan Page is going to get over in WWE pretty quickly.
I will say Ethan Page is one of Tony Khan and AEW's biggest fumbles for sure. I can fully admit that. That is one of AEW and Tony Khan's biggest fumbles.
I will say, I wish, Brandon, you probably think I just live to shit on WWE. I don't. I don't. I wish both products were good because I love professional wrestling. I'm not,
Same here. I try to give WWE a fair chance.
and I am invested in Jacob and Roman, but that's it because I'm all gas, no breaks with it. Y'all know what I mean?
See, that's where I differentiate from both of you. Because I don't like that they're recycling the whole bloodline story again. I don't want to see that. I like when WWE gives us fresh new storylines, like everything with Seth Rollins and Montez Ford. I like that.
That's not new. They've been doing that same storyline for 20 years. Oh, good guys can't get along. It's the same basic premise storyline.
To me, it's a new angle. I like it. I want to see where it's going to go. My favorite storyline right now with WWE in general is Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. I'm liking the direction it's going. It'll be interesting to see what type of adjustments.
Well, I'm not saying the storyline is bad. I'm just saying you can't call it new when that's literally the base of almost every single storyline.
See, I do understand that, but to me, it does feel new. That's just my perspective.
By the way, every time Seth Rollins turns babyface, that is his storyline.
Yeah, it was like that with they even did that for Jason Jordan before he broke his neck.
I just think they're telling the story in an interesting way.
Well, the Vision is the most cursed faction of all time, maybe in the history of professional wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Have they ever been healthy? Period.
No.
When Seth Rollins got hurt in October, I mean, now Logan Paul's got a torn tricep. And say what you want about Logan Paul, dude gets heel heat.
He does. He absolutely does.
Oh, by the way, Joe Hendry is another young guy in the conversation that I left out.
Yes. But he hasn't. I feel like he hasn't really done anything.
Can we fire Logan Paul?
And that got over instantly.
So I'm not gonna get. I like Joe Hendry, but I'm not going to give an opinion one way or another about him because I feel like he hasn't done much of anything yet since coming up to the main roster. So I want to give.
Do you believe, Josh?
So I want to, but I'm going to give it a little more time before I.
Do you believe, Brandon?
I believe. I've always been a believer. I was in that crowd December 13th in Washington, D.C. when my eardrum started ringing when he appeared, when the Miz said his name.
So I want to give WWE a fair chance, but like Clash in Italy, Liv Morgan hasn't had a title defense, I don't think she's defended the title since.
She hasn't had a match since she beat Sol Ruka the night after WrestleMania.
Yeah. She hasn't had a feud with anybody. I get it, like Stephanie Baker, is injured, but do we not have something for her?
What are they gonna do when Nikki Bella comes back? And
that's an easy solution. You
turn Paige heel.
No, you turn Brie heel. Brie and Nikki come together. Paige is still the babyface. Brie and Nikki are the champions. At SummerSlam, Brie and Nikki defend the Women's Tag Team Championships against Paige and her partner, her longtime best friend, AJ Lee.
Yeah, but that's recycled.
It feels like the Women's Tag Team Championships are just stuck in neutral. Like at Saturday night's main event, whoop-de-doo, we got the Tag Team Championship match, Brie and Paige against the Irresistible
Nia
Forces.
Legend. Yeah, I mean it was an okay match. It was nothing special.
Yeah. Like I feel like it's the same way with the tag titles on both shows. Like none of the tag titles feel like they have legitimate traction right now.
Yeah, I think and I said it at the time when they broke up the tag titles, I didn't like it. I think that they should just have one tag team championship.
I agree. It feels like everything is stuck in neutral.
Now they are trying to get younger. To your guys' point, like the New Day's going to AEW, great. Jalen, I don't care. I'm actually happy for them. They can go to AEW for all I care. Like they are trying to clearly get younger, and if you're not cutting it, WWE's got a lot of TV time, and they got a lot of TV programming, but they have a lot of wrestlers. And if you're not getting over and you're not in the storyline, then we're just going to release you and we're going to push the younger talent.
But Kofi, are you serious?
Well,
I don't care if Kofi's a jobber; he'll always get over.
Kofi Mania.
Well, the heel turn, and again, you can call it the booking all you want, but they were not getting over.
They weren't getting over because no one's watching this program. I'm sorry. If you are a real wrestling fan, you are not watching this.
Well, actually, they get 4 times the viewership of your guys' favorite wrestling program.
Yeah, because they're all 6-year-olds and they all love, oh my God, Travis Scott and Bad Bunny and for some reason George Kittle. And Pat McAfee was a big part of the WrestleMania main event storyline. Are we serious?
Jalen, did you see on Dynamite / Collision, because it's another one of those 3-hour specials tomorrow, which I'm not sure why, because Carolina and Montreal aren't playing, and that series is on TNT, and Clash in Italy is on Sunday, so I'm not entirely sure why Dynamite and Collision is a 3 hour.
Wait, the Canadians, they don't play tomorrow?
No, the Canadian. I'm talking about on Saturday because because Collision normally airs on Saturday, but tomorrow is one of those Dynamite Collision 3-hour specials.
You're a real sicko if you watch Collision. You're like one of the 200,000 people.
But
make it 2.
Yeah, I watch Collision. But
you guys, okay, well, it's official. You guys are sickos then. You guys and Jalen's favorite person, Dave, can go sit together.
Me and Dave have had some good times, man.
Hey, wait a minute. Has Dave blocked you yet?
I don't think so. But I did make a Twitter just to insult Dave.
Jalen,
I had to make another one to insult Dave, but go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
Jalen, tomorrow night on Dynamite, I didn't think it would escalate to this level of match this quickly after the
street fight. I saw it.
Not just a street fight. It's a lights out street fight between Sheeta and Statlander.
That's gonna be an absolute barn burner.
Yes,
and I'm excited.
I did not think they would go to that level that quickly.
I'm okay with it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm okay with it.
I'm not saying I have an issue with it. Just unexpected.
Yeah,
that it would escalate that quickly.
You guys enjoy. Now that season 50 of Survivor's over, I'll be spending my Wednesday night catching up on the 4. So.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the Guards.
No, because the Guards play tomorrow afternoon.
The Guards play at 1:10. We're currently playing right now, and we are currently getting smoked.
Again? Are you kidding me?
4-0, top of the 3rd.
Oh my God! What is it with these Nationals, man?
Is who's on the mound tonight?
Good question. I don't know.
Is it? It was Bybee yesterday, and he gave up like 6 home. He gave up like 4 home runs, like back to back to back to back.
It's Cantillo.
Ironically, Jalen, I'm seeing Tanner Bybee again on Sunday because I was at the game last night, and then I'm going to the game on Sunday against Boston.
Did you? I want to go to that game. Did you leave early?
There we go.
We left in like the 8th inning.
Yeah, no, that was bad.
But since we were mentioning the Stanley Cup playoffs earlier, I'll get to it. We got Game 4 tonight from T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. The Vegas Golden Knights can sweep the Colorado Avalanche. They are currently up 3-0. And then over in the Eastern Conference, Carolina won 3-2 in overtime again. So they are now up 2-1 against the Montreal Canadiens. Game 4 of that series is tomorrow at Bell Center. By the way, AEW just announced they are running a pay-per-view in Montreal at the Bell Center. It will be called Redemption. And then in sad news, the Cleveland Monsters were unfortunately eliminated by the Toronto.
Josh, your mic is popping again.
I'm switching. There we go.
There you go.
He's back.
In sad news, Cleveland Monsters were eliminated in the North Division Finals in a winner-take-all Game 5 against the Toronto Marlies. Toronto tied it up late in the third period, and they scored the game-winning goal with like 11.4 seconds left. Toronto moves on to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they will take on the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. And over in the West, it will be the Colorado Eagles taking on the Chicago Wolves.
All right, well, there's your hockey update, everyone. I think that'll do it for tonight's show. Jalen,
No,
thank
Brandon,
you so much.
before we log off, you got to pay attention to hockey. You have to. It's the most heart-beating playoffs you'll ever watch.
Yeah,
I know I never
promise.
will. You know
Come
I
on,
never will.
Brandon, just sit down one game, especially the
I
Canadiens,
will watch.
Montreal series,
I
because
will watch
it's
the third
2-3 or
period
2-2.
of Cold Stanley Cup
Someone
Finals.
correct me there, Josh. 2-3 or 2-2.
for what?
Oh, my mic went.
What are you asking? I'm confused.
Like, is the series 2-3 or is it 2-2 right now?
For which one?
Carolina won yesterday.
They are up 2-1.
Okay, so it's 2-1. But yesterday they went to overtime, and my heart was beating so fast, and I didn't even have a team in the fight.
Yes. I can tell you Toronto fans do not want the Stanley Cup final to be Vegas against Montreal. That would be their worst nightmare because on the Vegas side, Mitch Marner is there.
I don't even follow hockey, Brandon. Come on, you got to give it a shot.
The Maple Leafs traded Mitch Marner to Vegas, and he has been playing absolutely lights out throughout these Stanley Cup playoffs. And Montreal and Toronto are absolute bitter rivals. They're both in Quebec. Or I'm sorry, no, Toronto's in Ontario. My bad. But no, they hate each other. It's one of the biggest rivalries in the NHL. I love the Stanley Cup playoffs. At times, I actually like the Stanley Cup playoffs more than the NBA playoffs.
Oh, I don't doubt that because these NBA playoffs have been 90% blowouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I
Just sit
stick
down.
to my guns. The NBA playoffs are still not that good. That we all romanticize over like the great games, Spurs Thunder Game 1, they're all time. In a vacuum, though, as a whole, the NBA playoffs are not that entertaining. When every other night you're getting wah.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't have the Avalanche is awesome, and they're supposed to be really awesome, and they're down 3-0 right now.
They won the President's Trophy this season, which means they were not just the best team in the Western Conference. They were the best team record-wise in all of the NHL.
And they're
I can make a
smacked
case
right
as a whole that the NBA has the worst playoffs. It takes the longest,
now. I
and it
agree.
has the most points.
I agree, and it's my favorite sport, and I agree.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. Honestly, the baseball playoffs have been great the past couple
Baseball
of
playoffs are the best. They're short, quick. Now, I love the NFL playoffs because there's something about there's one game to decide your season. I know some people think NFL playoffs aren't that good because it's one game and they're slow and they're not on every day. Football playoffs to me are delicious.
Oh yeah, I like a good football series.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm
Good
glad
playoff.
like the NFL playoffs aren't a best of 3 or a best of 5.
Could you guys imagine?
Oh my God.
Well, a best of 7 football series where you play every day.
Oh God. That was
My God, just
And the
my.
NBA players complain about back-to-back. Oh, my knee hurts tonight. I don't think I can play.
No, listen, Brandon, you got to tune into these NHL playoffs. I stand on it. Just one game.
Yeah, because you were just saying it like NBA players. Oh, I broke my finger. I can't play. Guess what? NHL players. Oh, I have a broken finger. Guess what?
If
I'm
Spurs
still-
Thunder turns into a rout tonight, I might. I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to be a very close game tonight. But
Yeah. OKC needs both Jalen Williams and AJ Mitchell to suit up.
no, all OKC needs is the whistle.
All
Oh,
right.
All right.
I'm
We're
not
done.
we'll
Take
wrap
that.
it up there. All right, guys. Thank you, Jalen, for joining us. Hey, for on to the next episode of Fortune Talk Show. It was also Brandon's World. We'll see you next time on Championship Rings.
Oh boy.
Oh, Jesus.